let's see, like these. So these are a little bit more involved, okay? And by solving these, by doing these simple ones, it just shows us how to set up these more complicated ones. So yeah, I agree with you. If I was just doing this for a question, I'd say, yeah, multiply, be done. So you're exactly right. So this is more for just demonstrating the process. All right, so on this next one here, so you'll see that you're going to see, you're going to feel that same way, Isaiah, on some of these other ones too, or Jose. You're going to see, you'd be like, why don't you just divide? And I'd be like, yeah, that's true. Okay. And the reason we're doing this is because later on, when we go back to solve this and find out why, the way that you solve this is you look at what the unit is on 0.08. Okay, and it turns out that this is grams and this is deciliters. So in order to solve this problem, you're going to be setting up proportions like we just did. But now when you do it, you want to be left with a gram on the top and a deciliter on the bottom. And so by looking at it tells you how to set these up. So that's why I'm showing you this right here. All right. So on the next one, anytime you're talking about speed, this says if you're traveling 25 miles every half hour, how fast are you going? Well, that's what I'm looking for. And speed, since we're talking about a car, that would be expressed as miles per hour. That means it's written as a fraction. Okay, that's speed. So when I'm done, the way that I set this up, I want to be sure that I have a mile on the top and an hour on the bottom, and I know I got the answer right. Okay, so if I look at what I'm given, I've got 25 miles every half hour. Okay, so for every, I could write this same as this. For every is the same as saying 25 miles per 1/2 hour. So the word per just means for every. So these two phrases are the same. When I see per, I know I'm going to write it as a fraction. So this gets written as a fraction. 25 miles, 1/2 hour. So if you look at it, the label is already set up the way we want it, miles over hours. So to get that, we're just doing 25 divided by 25 divided by 1 divided by 2. Okay, and you should end up, oh, I wrote that wrong. 25 divided by 1/2. 1 divided by 2. And you end up with 50. So you're going 50 miles an hour. When I divide by a fraction, remember you multiply by the reciprocal? And then your label is what you wanted it, miles per hour. Now these other next few are very straightforward, like Jose said on these other two here. What I want you to get practice doing is learning how to set up these labels, because that's what's going to help you when we get into more complicated problems. It's really understanding how the labels work. All right. Question again, 10 apples, $2 an apple. Okay, how much is you going to pay? Well, everyone would know. You'd say, well, Prolek, you're just going to multiply them. That's exactly right. Okay. I'm just going to show you how the units work. Okay. Total price is money, and then I'm given 10 apples, and I'm given $2 an apple. So this gets written as a fraction. So I just start with 10 dot. This gets written as a fraction. $2, 1. And now when I multiply those, the apples get canceled, and I'm left with just dollars. So, not to belabor the fact, it seems like overkill to do all this work. Again, you're just learning how to cancel labels right now. Okay, so again, this next one's asking you, how much would you pay? So you want to just be left with dollars. Okay, you're given ounces. And the other label you got is dollars per ounce. So dollars over ounces. So we can see if I multiply these two, the ounces are going to cancel. Okay. Now, I don't know if you've done this in your math or science classes, but sometimes your teacher writes it like this. You'll see it written like is 2 boxes. And they'll say, this is the first fraction, this is 2.5 ounces. And then in this box, you put 1,200. And then this is per ounce, so that's ounces. It's just like writing 2 fractions. Ounce, ounce. And I end up just multiplying those, and all I'm left with dollars. So I use the labels to figure out how to solve the problem. I don't know whether I should multiply or divide. The labels will tell me what to do by understanding how I set them up. And right now, we're doing really simple problems. Later on, there'll be like 4 or 5 of these in a row that you're going to be using to convert from one to the other. When the label is right, I know my answer is right. $12,000? Oh, no, it's not, it's $1,200. Yeah, which is about, under gold's doing pretty well right now. Do you understand that most of the gold that you wear is not pure gold? Actually, none of it is pure gold. So if someone gave you well, actually, what pure gold, I'll stop here. This is kind of interesting. So when you buy gold, you know how it says it's a carat, and yeah, kind of interesting. All righty. Okay, so these first two, again, these are super simple problems. We're just going to work on setting it up. Anytime I'm asking for how much I'm going to pay, I know I'm dealing with dollars. Okay. I'm dealing with what's the total weight. I know that on this one, I want my answer to be, when I'm all done, I want ounces left over. Okay. If you make 420 bucks, you work 23 hours, what is your hourly wage? Okay. So an hourly wage is different than when you write it. This is actually dollars per hour. Okay. So this isn't just dollars, it's dollars per hour. Okay, next one is asking me how many buses do I need to move 495 people? So when I'm all done, I want this to say, I only want the word bus to be left over. So if I know what label has to be left over, that tells me how to use these other numbers. Okay, so per pound, that's going to be dollars per pounds, and this one is just pounds. So I want to now take these and write them so that the pounds cancel, and I'm just left with dollars. Okay, so if we use our little drawing here, okay, 2.5 pounds. This doesn't have any denominator. This would be $1.25, and the bottom would be pounds. 1 pound. Now the pounds cancel. If I just multiply those out. Like you'd say, well, why didn't you just do that in the first place? Yes, you normally would. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, when you write out this answer, 3,125, and that's dollars, that doesn't make any sense because dollars only go up to pennies. So you would have to automatically round this. Okay. This label is basketballs. Okay. The label on the other thing, 22 ounces each. All right. Each and every, I'm going to write that as a fraction when I see each and every. Okay, so each. Write that as a fraction. That would be 20 ounces over basketball. All right. So 11 BBs, 22 OZ, 1 BB, and the BBs cancel. 2, and all I'm left with is the label that I wanted. All right, paid $4.20, so that's dollars. 23 hours, that's just 23 hours. And when I'm done, I want to have dollars on the top and hours on the bottom. Okay, so if I set this up, 420. Now, I'm not going to put 23 hours here because the hours wouldn't cancel then. I'm going to put the 23 hours on the bottom. Now, I'll have dollars over hours. So this is telling you to solve this, you're going to end up dividing. $18.26 when you round it, and then this label is going to be dollars over hours. So sometimes people get confused on whether to multiply the numbers or divide the numbers. If you use the units, that'll tell you what to do. In this case, the units tell me to divide. All right. Okay, I got 495 people. Each bus, there's that word, each bus holds 45. That means I'm going to write this as a fraction. And I got a choice. I can write it as one bus is 45 people, or people, bus. And this is just people. Now, which way you write it just depends on what label you want to get rid of. Right? Okay, I got 495 people. And I want to end up with bus. And I want bus to be in the numerator when I'm done. So if I look at this, if I write it like this, the word people will cancel out. That's what I want. One bus, 45 people. And now the word people is gone, which is what I want. So to solve this, I end up doing division. Okay, and that ends up being 495 divided by 45, 11 buses. Okay. So these were fairly straightforward questions. Now we'll get into some that are a little bit more involved. Yeah, can you wait till we're done? Would it wait? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Just a second here. Some of my problems got cut off. Okay, take 5. I gotta fix this. So, yeah. It's gonna take Okay. All right. So it's asking you, what's the cost if you get 1 yards of soil and you sell it for $24 per cubic yard? Okay. Now, you know what a cubic yard is? So when you buy stuff like gravel, dirt, um, concrete, you want to pour foundation for your house or a patio or a shed, buy it in cubic yards. Okay, so a cubic yard. Okay. If I said how long's a yard, it's about the length from your nose to the tip of your finger. So he's a little. So there's his nose, and this is 36 inches right here. So he's a perfect yard. Okay, this stick is a meter stick. A meter is a little bit longer than a yard. 3 inches. So if you want to know how big a yard is, about from the tip of your nose into your finger. Okay? So a square yard would be a big box. The bottom of the box would be 1 yard by 1 yard. That's a square yard, like when you buy tile or carpeting. A cubic yard would be a container that's a yard by a yard by a yard. So if you could picture a big box here that I'm standing in, if I filled that up with dirt, that would be 1 cubic yard. If I filled that up with concrete, that would be 1 cubic yard. So if you're ever building something and you want to go buy some concrete, they'll say, well, how many cubic yards do you want? Okay, that's how concrete and cement and all that stuff is sold. It's sold in cubic yards. All right. So the question here is, what's the cost? So again, cost is what I want. All right. Now I got to take what units am I given, and then how would I set it up? So I'm given that, and I'm given this price, and I see the word per. So I know that's going to be dollars, yards. And this is just going to be cubic yards. Okay, don't back up yet. We'll be done in just a second. Okay, we still got it. Guys are early on me. All right, so we want to end up with this. Okay, so I got two givens. Okay. I'm going to take my 1.2 cubic yards. Okay, and this is going to be $20 on top and 1 cubic yard on the bottom. There. So this would, and then I put a 1 cubic yard, and you can see now the yards cancel. So again, this is really just a multiplication problem. And that's $28. All right, so again, pretty straightforward. That one you're just multiplying. Okay, we'll do this one and then we'll call it a day. All right, hot tub fills, a hose fills a hot tub 4 gallons per minute. How many minutes? So I want my answer to just have minutes in it. Okay. I'm given 4.5 gallons per minute. So this is going to be gallons over minutes. And then the other bit that I'm given, hey, gentlemen, come on. Getting up, walking around, it's kind of rude when I'm still teaching. Now, I want to take these two and write them out so that I only have minutes left. Now, watch what happens. I'm going to write this as 400 gallons. How do I write this one so that the gallons cross out? Yeah, so what I'm going to have to write this as 4 gallons per minute. I'm going to have to put the 4.5 on the bottom and 1 minute on the top. Now they cancel. And all I'm left with is the word doing this division. Okay, 4.5. And that would be, if I rounded it, 88.9 minutes. All right, we'll stop there.